Welcome back, everybody. Today is day 2 of this podcast, whatever it's going to shape out to be. Again, my name is Calvin. I run the nonprofit Growing the Grassroots in Sierra Leone, West Africa. And today we're going to continue just trying to share and get information out to people that would be relevant to running a nonprofit in Africa, business in Africa, or agriculture in Africa. I've had some time since yesterday to kind of start clearing up my thoughts and making themes and a route for this little journey. And I want to specify not every episode is going to touch on agriculture, business, and nonprofits. You know, it might be a little bit of each depending on what's going on for the day or what's going on for the week. You know, it's just kind of what is relevant right now and what do I feel could be the most beneficial for people to hear. So right now we're not necessarily talking about agriculture, even though that is my specialty. That's what I love the most. We will get to there. Within a few weeks, we're going to have to rent out some swampland for the dry season here in January. So I'll be switching topics, talking about agriculture more in those episodes. And today, so about halfway through filming yesterday's episode, I realized how scattered my brain is, and I really need to utilize a list or a whiteboard to keep me on track. So today I've got 5 topics that we're going to go over. The first one is a Zeffy podcast opportunity. The theme of this portion of the episode will be just taking opportunities, how they arise and how you capitalize on them. The second portion is going to be about the Kickstart Moneymaker Max treadle pump that I have put an order in for in Nigeria. I want to go over what that quote looks like with you guys, how to make sure that you're dealing with people safely in Africa, businesses safely in Africa. The next portion, number 3, is going to be the one-on-one phone calls that we plan on having with our staff members this coming Sunday. I started touching on that yesterday. This is the new structure of in-country, auditing or getting updates from everybody, for lack of a better term. We haven't done a lot with that in the past. We haven't had a good system for getting information from all of our staff members every month. We typically have just gotten information from our in-country directors on certain issues and topics, and while that's really efficient in the moment, that leads to a lot of problems because you're not talking to all of your staff members on a daily basis. And so the lower level staff members might have serious problems with how the high level staff members are acting, but I'm only hearing from those high level staff members to me. So I'm just getting one side of the story, So again, we've restructured everything, as I said yesterday, to start doing one-on-one phone calls. Now I'm going to go in depth today about what that really means and how you enact that. The fourth thing on the list will be, we got new radio, new cups, bowls, plates, and a watering bucket for our staff members. And I want to show you guys a video of their happiness. And I mentioned this yesterday, getting them a radio, getting them new amenities. It has a very positive psychological effect on the nonprofit. It leads to better employee loyalty, and it leads to better employee output and productivity. But then everybody just feels more like a family. So that's number 4. Number 5 is the new hotline or new phone that we bought for our staff members to better overcome the problem of not being able to communicate with those lower level employees. So one of the ways that we're overcoming that is with these in-depth one-on-one phone calls every month. The other way is we purchased a phone for the lower level employees to use, either anonymously or not, to contact us. And as a result of talking about that new hotline for the staff, I want to kind of go over our old structure versus our new structure with our in-country staffing. Like I said yesterday, that is another part of what we've been working on since we've been back from Africa. We got back 2 weeks ago, and we've had to restructure because, again, our 2 in-country directors from the past did take a commission from the solar project, 16,000 leones, which was $1,600. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start with number 1, the Zeffy podcast. So recently, our nonprofit, we were using PayPal to get our donations, I guess. But the problem with PayPal is they have like a 2 or 3% surcharge fee. So every time you collect a donation on PayPal on your website, for them to transfer that donation to your bank account, that's where they're taking out the fee. from transferring it. And they would take out like 3%, I think it was. So every $4.44 donation we got, the payout ended up being $3.93. It's not a ton taken out, but it did kind of bug me every single time. Or we see a one-time $20 donation come in, the payout is $19. It's like, I just want that extra dollar. We recently found Zeffy, Zeffy. This is good for any nonprofits to know. They are a platform that collects donations just like PayPal. They integrate into your website just like PayPal, but their difference is they have no fees for nonprofits to transfer that money to their bank account. So that $4.44 donation that we get hits our bank account at $4.44. I would recommend Zeffy for any nonprofit users or owners out there. It's very beneficial. This morning at 6 a.m., I got an email from Zeffy. Heck, let me pull it up for you guys here because I figured out how to do QuickTime Player and everything. From Zeffy, podcast exposure for growing the grassroots. Make your cause heard. At Zeffy, we always seek new opportunities to help nonprofits grow and gain the recognition they deserve. That's why we're thrilled to announce our partnership with Podcastathon, a global initiative from the 15th to the 21st of March, 2025. Podcastathon connects nonprofits with hundreds of famous podcasters worldwide to give your cause the visibility it deserves, completely free of charge. I clicked on register now, and I spent a little bit of time filling out the name of charity, charity sector, all about your organization with keywords, charity website, link to donation, charity logo. Yeah, it's pretty cool now that I'm doing this little podcast thing that, this might coincide very well and help us out. So we'll see. Anyways, Zeffy, again, long story short, would be very beneficial to nonprofits for collecting donations, and this podcastathon might also be very cool for anybody else that wants to know. Okay, so that's number one, checked off the list. Number two is Kickstart Moneymaker Max Pump. So Kickstart is an international nonprofit. They have one of their big outposts in Nigeria. I can't remember if they're from America originally or not, but Kickstart is all over the world. They're very well renowned. They're very accredited. They do agriculture projects with communities, but they also sell their own products, including pumps. They have a few different levels of pumps, from hand pumps all the way to this kicking treadle pump that we've purchased. But let me show you their website quickly because it's really cool what they do. Irrigating Africa, one farmer at a time. But anyways, I come to the top, I go to products. And these are the three pumps that they have. So the Moneymaker Starter Pump, the Moneymaker Hip Pump, and then the Max Pump. This is what we've purchased once before. We've had it for a year now and it's worked exceptionally well. Another nonprofit I used to volunteer for, they purchased two of these over 5 years ago and both are still working perfectly. And then you just step on these pumps up and down like you're walking upstairs, and it will bring water from the borehole that you have and then shoot it out the 200 feet out to your crops. So you need two people to run this system. You can irrigate 2 acres per day with one of these pumps. So now that we have 5 acres, that's why we're buying a second pump. We won't be irrigating the full 5 acres, but we'll certainly need 2 pumps. Anyways, let me go on and show you my quote that I got from Festus. Festus is one of their employees, and this was my quote back in 2023, August 2023. Anyways, I paid $376. And then, so you can see this is from May 2023, and then boom, 23 hours ago, I kept on the same exact pump line, email line, excuse me. And I went on WhatsApp as well, and I messaged him on there, so that's how the conversation actually started, but then I just responded on here to get me that quote. And now this is the quote from this time here. So the pump has gone up from $140 to $170, but now the total cost has gone from $360 something to $397. So it's only gone up $30 in the last year. That's a pretty good inflation schedule. I would not be second guessing this price that he gave me. But another thing I did to make sure that he still works for this company is I emailed another one of their employees, because I got from their website, there's a contact button. Oh, info at Kickstart. So there's this email button. I emailed them as well, and I confirmed that Festus still works for the company, and they said yes. And Festus sent me a screenshot of their conversation. So that's the reason I still trusted Festus even a year later. But yeah, you can never tell in Africa. You want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and being safe. So anyways, that is a little bit about the Kickstarter Moneymaker Max Pump from Kickstart. It's a really cool organization. Again, they are very highly accredited and they have very quality pumps. So if you're looking for a pump, they deliver all over West, South, and East Africa. Now the next portion of this video, we're going to move on to the one-on-one phone calls. So what are we doing with our staff members on Sunday? What is this new system that we're talking about? How are we going to communicate with people better moving forward? Christian, who is our new employee, he's one of our new employees, he's very technically savvy. He is holding our Wi-Fi box and our computer for us. So on Sunday, he's going to meet all of the staff members on the farm at 5 o'clock p.m. Everybody will meet there, and he will set up the Wi-Fi router and the computer in our storage building. And we'll start by having all of the board members being on Zoom on one side, and we're all in separate places, so we'll all be on our own individual screens. And then we'll call in to their one computer that all 8 of the staff members are sitting at. So we'll start by just going over the month with everybody and ask the whole team how the month has been. If they have any updates for me regarding problems that have happened, any successes, and then we'll just get a general update from everybody about like what happened at the Ministry of Education when we visited, what's going on with the school and our headmasters and the pupils down there, what's going on with the women and the farm-based organization groups, how quickly can we get land, logistical things as well. But then after that, we'll have everybody break off, and the other 5 members will maybe go stand somewhere else, and 1 member will stay within the storage building. And they will be able to talk to us more in depth about their grievances. They have this anonymous time that they can get out whatever they want, and we'll write down information, but we'll never say their name. So if after the call, Al-Haji says that Kariatu has been bullying him, which would never happen, we can then address Kariatu in her one-on-one call and say, hey, one of the staff members said that you haven't been as nice as you used to be. What's going on? What's the situation there? And then they typically just open up and you can figure out what a middle ground is from there, But yeah, everybody will have about 15 minutes to speak their grievances and say what they need to say, and then they will call in the next person, and we'll just go through it like that. So all of the board members will have to sacrifice 15 times 8, a good 2 hours for these calls, but that's not a problem. It's a good sacrifice that you have to take to make sure that we get the right information and everybody's treated fairly on the ground. So that's pretty much it for the one-on-one calls. As we go through the first week of one-on-ones, we'll see what goes well and what doesn't go well, and I will report to you guys, and then we'll figure out what we have to change for the next time. So again, we're doing these one-on-ones once a month, and I'll let you guys know next week kind of how this one goes. So that's it for number 3. Number 4 is new radio, cups, bowls, and plates for the employees. Employee happiness in general. Okay, I'm going to make another screen recording here. Check out these videos that we got from the farm yesterday. They were so cool. So Saidu in the blue shirt here, he's got the new radio that they got on top of their head. And look at this one.
Jesus Christ. I want to make you one of me.
Oh my god. Oh, these kill me. These guys are having so much fun on the farm. Again, we don't normally ask for videos like that, but everybody was really, really excited yesterday with that new radio. And even you could see Alhaji was dancing with the plates. He was dancing with the bowls. There's a huge psychological effect to getting your staff members things that they need, things that will make them happy. And you do not have to go over the moon and get everybody their own motorbike to make them happy. No, it can be really small things like this that just change the whole dynamic of somebody's week or month. And if you keep treating them good like this, I mean, you can just ride this high for months at a time. It feels really good. So I can't remember what I call this. I think it's the law of marginal returns. Yeah, this is the law of marginal returns, where an example of this is like you go to a restaurant, your bill is $20, and a 20% tip would be $4. And you can give that $4 and it's 20%, that's standard, or you can give $7 and that's only $3 more for you, but that becomes another 15% of a tip, and that person is super duper happy getting a 35% tip rather than a 20% tip, and it's just for $3 extra, you know? This is the same kind of thing. That radio costed us 330 leones, which was $15. And there are 6 people on that farm that are benefiting from listening to that radio every day, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. The amount of happiness that we've generated from $15, it was a very good investment, let's just say that. So that's it for number 4. Number 5 is the new hotline for our staff members. Again, this is overcoming the problem we used to have where the upper management will tell us everything is fine and dandy on the ground, it's all good, and then we get to Sierra Leone and we find out it has been a dumpster fire on the ground, and people are not happy with each other and they're not getting along. And we thought, how can we overcome this? Because we have a lot of staff members that don't have phones. They're just villagers that don't have a need for a phone outside of this organization, so they don't want to buy one for themselves. How can we communicate with them? Because we need to. So we thought of an idea. We have purchased one smartphone, Intel A40 phone. It's pretty good. 1,500 leones is like 70-something bucks. Anyways, I had Christian download WhatsApp and Gmail on that phone yesterday, and now all the farm staff, including the cook, Martha, they can all use it anonymously to send us voice audios or texts if they need to, and if there's any problems going on. Yeah, pretty much we're going to keep it at the farm, and we're getting solar for our storage house, so they'll just keep it on the charger all the time there, and people can use it to get a hold of us. We've made it known to everybody that anyone can use that phone at any time, but it's also supposed to stay on the farm. So at night, after 5 p.m., it stays in the farm, locked up in the storage room. So I'll let you guys know in the coming weeks how this hotline goes for the staff members, if that helps communication, if they feel the courage to communicate with us. I know from our end, we're just going to have to do a really good job at staying anonymous with their names. If we don't stay anonymous, they'll not feel confident in the system, and they'll not continue to come to us if there are problems. I know that for sure. The last part of this video, let me take you through the old structure and the new structure of growing the grassroots. And check this out. This was the old structure right here. I know you can't see it very well, but we had Shaka up here and Edmund up here. They were on the same level, and they were our directors, okay? And then under them, there was a break, and then directly under Edmund, you had 3 employees. We had Saidu, Alhaji, and Kadiatu. And that's how it was structured. Just 2 in-country directors who were supposed to be keeping each other in check, but in reality, they ended up just conspiring with each other to make more elaborate corruption plans. So I would never recommend in-country directors for people, just so you know. Tried it, didn't work. And yeah, we just had 2 levels, directors up here, and then workers below it. And pretty much none of the workers had any phones, and we were not communicating with them very well. We tried one-on-one calls for a while, but we had a board member, and she left the organization just because she wasn't as passionate about agriculture as the rest of us, and so she left, and since then we haven't picked up a new board member to take over those one-on-one calls. So Now that's why we're doing what we're doing at a much higher, more detailed scale. So that was the old structure of growing the grassroots. Now what we're trying to do is this. You've got this director level up here again, but you can see it's blank. It's totally blank. We don't have anybody there. A lot of the board members, including myself, we kind of have PTSD right now about having any in-country directors, just because we know that absolute power leads to absolute corruption. But we're really trying to overcome our fear of giving trust and giving control to people, because it needs to. Oops. Because it needs to happen at some point. We're going to need to give power out, you know. But with Christian, with our new guy, he's been working with me for like 3 years. I really, really trust him. He's been a contract worker for us for about 2 years, but this is the first time he's had a major full-time role with us. So now this is kind of the way we're trying to play it, okay? And this might change, but again, we have no directors, and then we have Christian as our coordinator. Okay, so we made a new tier of roles. It's a coordinator. And then under that, you have the workers. We've got Martha, Kadiatu, Saidu, Alhaji, Usman, Shaka, and Edmund now. The reason we keep Christian as a coordinator, we want that psychological, mentality to be in there where he knows he's not a director and everybody else also knows he's not a director, so there's not that total power dynamic between them. But there will obviously be some power dynamic, but we're trying to not make a huge disparity between him and the rest of the people. In terms of the 7 people that are working at the worker level, that part has been going exceptionally well. I'll tell you that. Because now Alhaji has a phone, Saidu has a phone, and we've gotten this new smartphone for the farm staff. So Kadiatu will be messaging us more, Usman will be messaging us, Martha will be messaging us, the cook. It's been going exceptionally well having those 7 people all at the same level, making the same salary and with the same job title. Because there's no politics that are playing into it, and people aren't getting jealous over anybody else's anything. They all have the same assets, and they're all getting treated the same. They're all benefiting from the new radio, for instance, from the new smartphone in case their phone dies. So for the time being, at least, I feel like this has been a very comfortable transition. But like anything, only time will tell. So I'll let you guys know how that goes. I think I will leave it here today. I want to keep all these videos between like 20 and 30 minutes. I think that's manageable for people to chew off and for me to record and edit per day. If you have any requests for videos or topics that you want me to cover, feel free to comment below. I'm just barely scratching the surface with everything I want to share with you all. And don't forget to look up Growing the Grassroots and Bridge to Africa. I'll see you guys next time.